Is you ready, my brother? Step up to this mic and let's get it.
Make some noise for dogs, y'all. Make some noise.
Hey everybody, my name's not Doms. It's Domes. What is that? Domes Gage is dope, but like.
That boy is good. I'm happy.
What's up, guys? Domes Gage here, and we're back. We're late, but we're back. Back for another episode of Off the Dome with Domes Gage, episode 16, I believe. Let's make sure that's right. Yes, episode 16. We're back, another week, and we're late, guys. I fucking blew it. It's all my fault. I'm sorry, but we're late. As you guys know, I like to post these episodes on Mondays, and I've kind of been pushing it. I've kind of been pushing that. I've been recording the episodes on Monday and then releasing them on the same day, and just procrastinating till the last fucking minute, which I tend to do. But yeah, yesterday it was Monday, and I was just not feeling it, guys. I did not have the energy, the motivation, the drive. I just didn't really want to sit down and do the podcast. And I think I was stressing out a little bit over like not having too much to talk about. In these last couple weeks, I haven't really had much to talk about, and I just feel like the episodes have been sort of falling flat, for me at least, because I overthink it when I'm like going into the episode, like I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And then I managed to, talk for an hour, but just going into it blind, sort of not knowing what I'm going to talk about, or at least having like a general outline or some sort of fucking topics I can talk about. Just makes me like fucking stress out over it. And just felt like the last couple episodes were a little subpar, in my opinion. And so I just, when it came down to recording the episode yesterday, I was just like not inspired to do it. And I like to be able to have fun, and I want to that's a bad sentence. Like I want to be able to sit here and do the podcast. Like I'm trying to figure out a better way to fucking word that. Just when I sit down to do the podcast, I want to actually, God damn it, I can't keep using want twice or else it just sounds funny. I would like to be able to sit down and want to do the podcast. And that's how it's been, for the majority of it, is I've been excited to do the podcast. And I don't know, maybe these last couple weeks have just been, just me kind of like, I just haven't been super excited to do it. And I think it's mostly because I just haven't had like that much stuff to talk about. And when I'm not being productive enough and not getting enough stuff done, it's hard for me to come on the podcast every week and act like I am, or, talk positively like, yeah, I'm doing all this. If I'm not doing anything, it's hard for me to put on that front, I guess. And that's definitely not why I started this podcast, to put on a front. It's like when I get on the when I get on the podcast, I was just kind of talking about it, like, oh, if I don't have anything to say, or it's like I want to be like perfect, I want everything that I'm saying to be I want to be able to say, hey, I did this week and I was productive, and I want to sound positive, and I want to sound like everything that I'm doing is like, a good thing, and not binge watching Netflix. And so, yeah, when I know that that's not necessarily what I'm going to talk about on the episodes, it's like, it makes me like, started to feel, just feel bad about it. Feel like fucking, I'm not doing enough, And, so it's hard for me to get on the podcast every week and fucking make it seem like I'm doing more than I am, which I don't think I make it seem like that on the podcast. I'm pretty genuine. I'm pretty honest about, if I did something in the week, I'm going to talk about it on the podcast. But I guess what I'm trying to say is everybody has off days, and that's part of the reason I started this podcast. Was just to talk openly with my fans, to express myself, to say what's on my mind. I don't always need a topic or a story or a weekly recap that's going to be super entertaining. Everybody has off days, off weeks, whatever. And I think that's almost more not genuine, but I don't know. I know when I started the podcast, it wasn't to put up a front, like I was saying earlier. And, yesterday when I was sitting down to do the episode, I was just like, man, I don't know what to talk about. And I start to like stress myself out over, fuck, I didn't do enough this week. I don't have anything like positive to say on the podcast. I don't have anything like uplifting or anything like, to talk about. So I'm just like, do I even want to do the podcast? Do I even want to fucking, record the episode or whatever? So, I don't know. Rant aside, long story short, did not record the podcast yesterday. And I figured it'd be better just to sleep on it, let my brain, marinate on it and just think about what I want to say, or just kind of, get in the mind state of being excited to record the episode today. And I'm excited to record the episode today. We're a day late, which I'm also bummed at myself about that I let that happen, because, I've been trying to, even though I've been slacking on recording the episodes, I've been still getting them up every Monday, varied times throughout the day, but I've been still getting them up every Monday. And, yeah, it was getting later last night. I was like, damn, maybe I could still do it and get it up. And I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't in the mood for it. And, which I think I've said on a previous podcast, that I shouldn't let that get to me. Like, even if I'm not in the mood to do the podcast, I know I need to sit down and talk for that hour. So I don't know why I let it get to me yesterday. Fucking, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was too high. Still smoking weed after, Sober October ended almost, 3 weeks ago now? So I'm just kind of getting back to, like, what KON say. He's like, you getting your weight up yet? Getting my tolerance back, and it's definitely affecting my drive to do certain things, or just my energy levels, getting fucking high and then fucking binge watching Netflix. Which, in the last episode, I said, I don't ever binge watch Netflix. Like, I was talking about that Rhythm and Flow show last week, I think. And I'm like, oh, I'd like never watch that much TV. Like, binge watching Netflix is like totally not my style. And then later in the episode, I proceed to list off hours of podcasts that I watch or listen to. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I don't really binge watch Netflix. I just fucking listen to half a day's worth of podcasts. But Oh, I brought that up because I've just been fucking watching Netflix this week. I've been watching The Office, which I've totally seen before, but you know, that's just one of those shows that you go back to and fucking rewatch because it's on Netflix. But two of the actresses on The Office have a podcast where they watch the episodes and then they recap them, and they did like 4 episodes of that, so it's like the first 4 episodes of the first season. And I heard the podcast, and then I was like, well, maybe I should go watch, you know, those first 4 episodes because, you know, to rewatch them after I heard the actresses talk about them. And, you know, first 4 episodes turned into fucking 4 seasons deep a couple days later. It's like I've totally seen this show before. I don't know why I'm fucking binge watching it now. But yeah, so I've been binge watching the fucking Office. And has not felt very productive, I'll tell you what. So I think yesterday when I was like sitting, like, you know, trying to wrap my head around doing the podcast, I'm like, the fuck have I been doing this week? I'm like, not really much. Watching Netflix after saying I don't really watch Netflix that much. Oops. But yeah, so binge watching Netflix is definitely not productive. What the fuck word did I just say? Productive. So was there anything else I wanted to talk about fucking The Office? Probably not. It's a great show if you've never seen it. Fucking however many years later after it's been canceled. And yeah, I blame it on the weed. Which isn't necessarily true because I have been somewhat productive while smoking weed still. I've been, you know, making a lot of beats and working on some music. But the weed is definitely weighing me down at this point. And I hate to say it, especially in that tone. But I like to say that it wasn't weighing me down before I stopped smoking weed for a month. But now that I'm like trying to get back into it, it's definitely weighing me down. There's no doubt about it. It's weighing me down because it's making me not want to do anything. It's weighing me down because it's giving me the munchies and I'm just fucking eating everything in sight. So I'm fucking... So I'm, you know, gaining weight, so it's weighing me down. That was the joke. Anyone got it? Fucking so yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that transpires. I was talking about maybe you know, not smoking weed next year, or at least like not not making it a habit and smoking it every single day, because that's how I've been living for the last fucking X amount of years, and where it's just a habit and I smoke it every day, and damn it, there was somewhere I was gonna go with that too. Yeah, I don't know. I was talking about maybe stopping smoking next year, or at least, you know, not every day, not making it a habit. And I'm trying to dig myself back. I'm trying to get myself back to what I was just thinking about, and now I'm fucking blanking on the same thing twice. But yeah, if you know, if it's like occasionally and I'm like hanging out with somebody and, you know, we're smoking weed or whatever, I think that's fine. But I think because I've been an everyday weed smoker for the last fucking, 10 plus years, it wouldn't be so bad to maybe cut it out of my daily regimen, my daily fucking routine of. And that's what it just becomes so much routine of smoking weed. I'm so like, so used to just like, I need to kill time, or this is, I got 30 minutes for this shit to finish rendering on my computer, so I'm going to smoke weed or whatever. Like, it's definitely a habit and and I don't know. It's easy to say I'm going to quit smoking weed while I'm smoking weed. Because then when you don't have weed, you're like, fuck that, I need more weed. But, and something I noticed is I always used to say that, I used to get like mad at little things, so I'd smoke weed and I wouldn't be mad at them. When now I've almost found it that since I've started smoking weed again, if I haven't smoked weed that day, so much more shit is making me mad and making me like way more irritable and just pissing me off. I've noticed it more since I've started smoking weed again. And then there will be, like times in the day where like I haven't smoked weed all day yet and something will happen. And I'm like, why am I like more mad now? Because the weed is like back in my system or whatever. And I don't fucking know where I'm trying to go with this. I even feel weird about talking about like my fucking weed addiction on this goddamn podcast. Or fucking people are probably listening to this shit like, man, you're a fucking baby, dude. Fucking complaining about some weed. What's that scene in Half Baked where he's like, you ever suck dick for some weed? Didn't think so. Yeah, he's in like fucking rehab for weed or some shit like that. And I'm pretty sure that's Half Baked. I guess you can't just put Half Baked and weed on YouTube because that's not the scene that'll pop up. Fuck. I don't know what it is now. But yeah, I've been talking about weed for the last like fucking month. Like it's this this crazy drug addiction I have, and kind of is, I guess, but like it's it's not that serious, and I hate to make it sound more serious than it is, maybe, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just fucking speaking what's on my mind, and you guys decided to tune in. Maybe there's people out there that smoke a ton of weed and want to slow down on it. And maybe me talking this through, they're like, that sounds accurate, and slowing down on smoking weed doesn't sound like such a bad idea. Or there's potheads like my friends that are like, who the fuck are you? We want domes back. Hit this. It's like the Snickers commercial. You hungry? You're acting like a diva, man. Eat a Snickers. Domes, who are you, man? Hit the weed. That's exactly what it's like. What are you talking about slowing down on? Hit this, fool. Here's a Snickers. Snickers sounds good. See, that's the problem. I get high and my fucking sweet tooth kicks in, and I've been eating so poorly for the last month, last 3 weeks, just eating so terribly. And that I don't feel good about. I'm laughing about it, but I don't feel good about it. And that's definitely weighing me down. Like, not actually, but, well, maybe actually, but mentally, it helps to have to eat healthy and to have like a clear head when trying to create and get shit done. And when I go on these fucking binges and start eating like fucking garbage disposal, then yeah, it's easy to fucking not be in a good mood. It's like, I don't know what I'm trying to go for here. Also, I'm still looking for this damn scene from Half Baked. All right, here we go. Let's hope this is it. All right. It's 40 seconds, so let's hope this is it.
My name is Thurgood. Hi. I'm here today because I'm addicted to marijuana.
You in here for some marijuana? Marijuana? Man, this is some bullshit.
Marijuana is not a drug. I used to suck dick for coke.
I seen them.
Now that's an addiction, man. You ever suck some dick for marijuana?
Huh?
No, I can't say I have.
I didn't think so.
Boo this man. Yo. Oh, fuck. That's how I feel talking about my marijuana addiction on this podcast. Boo this man. You ever sucked some dick for marijuana? Didn't think so. Oh, shit. All right. Glad I could find that clip. And I'm glad it was so short because I can put it in the podcast, hopefully. Cool. Very fucking cool. All right. If I think of anything else, I'll try and pull it up. But, and see, that's what I'm talking about. When you just fucking ramble and have no idea what you're going to talk about, but an idea of why I don't have anything to talk about and that I'm already 22 minutes into this podcast is what I'm trying to say here. And I was stressing, I don't have anything to talk about. And that's the point of this podcast. It's off the dome with Dome's Gauge. It's not scripted. I do have a couple, notes that kind of help me remember things. And, but other than that, it's just all off the dome. And I would love for every week for me to come in here and be like, I was in the studio all week. I made this song. This shit's done. I shot a video. I did this. And hopefully one day we'll get to that. Hopefully there will be some episodes like that. But I can't expect that to be every week, and you guys can't expect that to be every week either. My life is not that extraordinary at the moment. It's not very eventful. I need to make it more eventful, as I've talked about on this podcast. Need to just double down and fucking really, really start grinding. Which, it comes in spurts for me, man. Sometimes I fucking do nothing but work on music for months on end, and then sometimes I need to fucking binge watch The Office on Netflix. That's my life. I guess. Shrug. For all the people, I'm like, oh yeah, people just listen to this podcast and don't watch it. So me shrugging to the camera holds no weight unless you say the word shrug. Yeah, just having a good attitude going into recording the podcast is super helpful for me as well. And a couple of those last episodes, I was just like, man, I'm just like not even excited to sit down and fucking do this. And that should not be the case. That's how I got with me and KON's podcast, where I was just like, man, I'm not even like excited to sit down and do this. I just want to work on music or like have something to fucking talk about. And me and KON's podcast was a little different. Anyway, speaking of KON, I actually talked to him yesterday. He called me around the time that I would have been recording the podcast. So you guys would have had a KON's lunch break segment on, I don't know, I forgot what episode that is, but KON called me one time. I think it's episode, I don't remember. It's an early one, but he calls me on his lunch break. I put him on speakerphone, and I called the segment KON's lunch break. And we've only had one of those here on Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge. But he called me yesterday, and I was like, damn, I wish I was recording because I want the fucking KON's lunch break segment. And so I was talking to him yesterday, and instead of doing the podcast, I was slacking. I wasn't sitting down to record or didn't have any of the equipment set up, so I couldn't just like press record and put him on speakerphone or whatever. But I was talking to him, and I think my lack of having things to talk about on this podcast recently has made me think about expanding and possibly getting some guests every once in a while to spice things up. So, who knows? Next week? I better not say next week because I don't want to start putting fucking dates on things. Pretty soon here, we might have the first guest on Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge. And it's somebody you would never expect to be on my channel, never expect to be doing a podcast with me. All right, I'm just kidding. It's KON. It's KON, and I'm going to have him on the show soon. I don't know if it'll be next week. It could be. It's very possible, but don't take my word for it. But yeah, I was talking to him on the phone yesterday, and I was like, "No, fool, you got to come. We'll figure out a setup here. We haven't really figured it out if he's going to be here with the table in his mouth like Buck, or we're figuring it all out." But and I told him if I bring him on, I want it to be centered around us, centered around, I hate to say me, but the show is Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge, okay? It's about fucking me and my life and my journey. But KON is a big part of that. You know, I've known KON since I was like 13. He's like the first person to put me in a studio to record music and a big influence on me. And, you know, did all the battle rap stuff with me and did plenty of shows with me. He's in the Trust the Process video. Like, me and KON go back. So he's part of the story. He's part of the journey. So I told him, if you come on, we need to specifically talk about, like, certain stories that involve both of us that would be interesting for you guys, or, you know, certain shows that we did, or just, you know, stuff surrounding the journey. I'm not going to be really interviewing KON too much. And anybody I bring on in the future it'll probably be more in that vein, more like people that, you know, have shared a story with me that can, you know, relate to you guys as well. Or I just don't plan to do like crazy interviews. That's what I was like trying to get at, I guess, is I do want to have guests eventually, especially for those days where I'm just blanking out and can't fucking think of anything. Having a guest to kind of bounce off of would be nice. Buck only helps me out so much. His silence speaks louder than words sometimes. But there's definitely people I would like to have on the show to chat about the same thing that I'm trying to do, essentially, you know, trying to be a successful fucking artist. And there's a lot of us out there. And, you know, so there's a lot of people that I want to talk to. I would love to figure out how to do like online, like Skype kind of deal, because then we could do like, it would be super easy for me to do that instead of trying to bring people into my fucking studio to do an episode. But that's down the road. I'm working on it. Maybe have some guests eventually here on Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge. But yeah, it'll be stuff that kind of centers around my journey, I guess. People I've met along the way, or just, like I said, other artists that are trying to pursue the same thing as me, trying to, on the same path. And, but KON, I've fucking known him forever. And, it's like my brother pretty much. So he can come to my studio. He's all right. I trust him. But, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe expect a KON episode coming up soon. A little reunion of the Domes and KON podcast. Except it's not really a reunion from the Domes and KON podcast because I told him we can't go off on fucking rants like we would on the Domes and KON podcast was too much fucking like fucking hip hop gossip. We're talking about things like Drake getting booed at a concert that just happened. Oh, wait, I think I talked about that on the last fucking episode. Actually, I don't really think I talked about it that much, but I did bring it up. And as I was bringing it up, I was like, that's totally like a Domes and KON podcast topic and has nothing to do with me. But I don't know. I needed something to talk about. I didn't have shit to talk about, so I'm talking about Drake getting fucking booed, okay, people? But, who knows? Maybe me and KON will talk about people getting booed. So yeah, was talking to KON yesterday, and potentially he could be. Well, I know he's going to be the first guest whenever I end up doing it, but it could be potentially soon. So you guys have that to look forward to. Looking through my notes here to see if they're going to give me any help, but I'm all out of order with things I wanted to talk about, including, if you're still fucking watching 30 minutes into this episode, hit the like button. I've been trying to remember that. The last 2 episodes I did good. I remembered hit the like button in the first couple minutes of the episode. So if they don't make it past the fucking 5 minutes, they saw the hit the like button part and they thumbs up the fucking video. I totally forgot this week because I was late and I was taking it out on myself. I was fucking disappointed in myself for being late 1 week. This is the 16th week I've done the damn fucking podcast. And this is the first time I'm late. Cut me some slack, guys. And I won't make this a habit, I promise. Next week is coming out on Monday. And maybe I'll even try. No, all right. I'm not going to make any early promises now. It'll come out on Monday. We'll be back to normal next week. Although this week went by fast as hell, and I didn't even realize, I think it was Sunday, and I was like, oh shit, I have to do the podcast tomorrow because I don't even fucking try and do it on Sunday anymore. Because I'm like, nah, I could do it on Monday and get it up until you wake up on Monday and you're like, I don't want to do the podcast at all today. But, you still sit down and make it happen, Domes. What the fuck is wrong with you? You made an obligation to yourself and to the people that there would be a new episode every Monday. And here it is, Tuesday afternoon, and the episode's still not up, and we're fucking mad at you, dude. Nah, nobody's really hit me up and said they're mad yet. So that's a plus. Fucking, catch up on the other 15 episodes while I get this one done and uploaded. And then I'm going to upload it and people are going to be like, damn, I thought he was just going to miss a week. I thought he quit the podcast. I thought he was done with it. No way. Can't do it to you. I shouldn't have left you without what's that quote? I'm bad at quotes on this fucking show. Without a dope rhyme to step to? Is that it? Left 2. On is step 2. I'm pretty positive that's what it is, dude. Aaliyah, that's not who I'm thinking about at all. Without a dope beat to step 2. That's the Aaliyah song. I really don't think that's the song I have in mind, though. Now I'm just I forgot that I'm doing a podcast and all this blank air. Embrace the blank air. We are the blank air together, people. Maybe I'm almost positive it's not Aaliyah that I'm thinking of. So what other song? Is there like a Nas song where he says that? Am I tripping? KON was here. He would know. Shows my fucking hip-hop knowledge. No, that's not true. I have a decent hip-hop knowledge. But shit, I have a better hip-hop knowledge. Or I'm more schooled in hip-hop than fucking anything else. Fucking, as I've said on this podcast, dropped out in fucking 8th grade and didn't learn much geography or have you seen shit and they're like travel stuff and I'm like, I have no idea where that is. I failed in school bad. But if we're talking about such and such rap song, I can probably tell you something about it. So I don't know, I can't find this damn quote though. And damn, see, KON would save me on this right now. Oh well. I need to remember that for when KON comes on and be like, hey, fool, what was that quote about? Shouldn't have left you without a dope rhyme to step 2. So it's clearly an Aaliyah song. That's what all the lyrics are popping up. But I'm sure it's been like flipped, like, you know, I'm sure people have done their own versions of that lyric, and I think that's the one that's in my head. And well, is what it is. We'll figure it out next week. We'll figure it out next week. So yes, possible guests on the Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge podcast. Let me know if you would want to see guests or if you just want me to keep it fucking solo by myself. My homie Ryan was kind of like saying he doesn't think I should do guests because, and I kind of feel what he was saying. He was just saying that, you know, the idea of the podcast is it's fucking my journey. It's my life. And for me to like interview people on it would be kind of weird. It would be a different pace than what I've been doing. But, like I said, it wouldn't be every week. It would be kind of every once in a while. You would get a little bit of a different episode with a guest, or I'll just keep it by myself. But especially for days where I'm just blanking, I'm like, fuck, I don't have anything to talk about. KON called me and we talked on the phone for 30 minutes, and I was like, oh, that would have been half the episode if I just pressed record. So, you know, it's kind of easy to bounce back and forth with somebody and have a conversation when I'm just drawing a blank. But we'll see what happens. What else did I do this week? Did I do anything productive? No, I actually did. I did a couple things, but I feel like the majority of my last 3 days have been watching The Office. And so I couldn't get on the camera yesterday and, like, you know, think properly. It's all just like fucking That's What She Said and Michael Scott jokes. But, you know, we're back. We're late, but we're back. So it is what it is. You get what you get. Best podcast in the world, Off the Dome with Dome's Gage. Y'all know it. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. Shit, I know it. I'm confident in it. domesgage.com/shop for the merch. Pick you up a shirt while you still can. Supplies are running low. We're going to need to get some more made. You know, there will be more supplies eventually, but maybe I should just say supplies are running low, so buy yours now. You shouldn't tell them that you're getting more. That ruins the rarity, the rareness. I'm pretty sure rarity is a word. But yeah, you guys got me second guessing words. Yes, rarity. It's like I could say all of these words in a conversation normally and not second guess it at all. But because I'm being recorded, I'm like, nah, I need to make sure that's a word. I'm gonna be sounding fucking stupid over here. I maybe sound more stupid by Googling to see if it's an actual word. What's more stupid? Saying a word that could potentially not be the right word. But wait. Never mind. I lost my own self on that one. Anyway, how far are we? 41 minutes. We're fucking breezing through this shit. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to see. So yeah, we're already super late into the fucking episode. I don't even know if I need to talk about anything else that I did this week. No, I made some more beats, worked on a little bit of music. When I wasn't watching Netflix, I was clicking around with sounds and making some music. Me and Ryan did a little beat making challenge, as he likes to call a beat off. So yeah, me and the homie, we had a beat off, you feel me? So we make inappropriate jokes about that every time we do one. Every time we do a beat off, we have to make inappropriate jokes, But yeah, so we did a beat making challenge. I've talked about that before on one of the episodes, where we kind of he'll send me like a sample or some keys or something, and I'll send him a sample, and we have to make beats with the samples that we send each other, and then send the beats back or whatever. And we've done it like that, or we'll just send drums, and then we have to make the key, the instrument parts, or sample something or whatever. It's just a little exercise to sharpen the skills, get stuff done fast. We put a time limit on it, make sure it's done real quick, and not too much second guessing and stuff. So I do enjoy doing those, and I was gonna say I enjoy beating off. All right, that was too far. That one was too nail on the head. I could have thought of something a little more clever. But yeah, I like it when we make beats and send them back and forth to each other. Let me clarify. But yeah, so we did that, and I think we even did that like yesterday or the day before, so it was pretty recent. So had fun with that, and yeah, made a couple other beats. I did a little bit of work for the EP. Not enough work. I've been slacking definitely on getting this EP done, but I'll get it done. I'm slacking, I'm procrastinating and waiting till the last minute to get shit finished, but I'm going to get it done. Don't you guys worry. And you guys still don't know when I'm going to release it, but it's dropping next month. I was going to say before the end of the year, there's only one more month left in the year. And if it doesn't come out this month, it's got to be next month. So expect it next month. been putting off finishing these songs for I don't really know what the reason is, actually. Just kind of second guessing things, and when I sit on music for so long, I've had these songs done for quite a while now, and finishing stuff is always the hardest for me. I'm my own worst critic. So I'm like, listening to the mixes and making sure everything is as good as it can be, because I used to want to make sure everything was fucking perfect, and then I realized that can't happen. Perfect doesn't exist. So do the next best thing, which is make it good enough to release. But that's still like a super hard thing for me to do, like to come to terms like, okay, this is good enough to put out. And it's like, so yeah, I want stuff to be perfect. I know it can't be perfect. It's like a thin line of wanting, God damn it, lost what I was gonna say. Damn it. I had something I was gonna say too, and now I just fucking blanked on it. About putting out music, and I don't fucking know. I lost it. I'll come back to it. Something about, it being perfect and fucking, making sure it's good enough to release. Making sure that the good enough to release is still up to my standards. It's still something I like, and still, I think that was part of it. It's a thin line of like, damn it, I had this like analogy, or I guess it's not really an analogy, but of getting stuff done. It's a thin line of liking what I'm doing and making it good enough to release. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, I still have to fucking I still have to make sure I like it, and I'm not like, oh, that's good enough so we can put it out if I'm not happy with it still. I don't know. I'm I need to let that one resonate on the brain for a little bit longer, because I don't know where I'm going with that. But anyway, EP is still in the process of getting finished. Worked on it a little bit on the mixing, very briefly, but not enough. I gotta work on that more. I worked on a little bit of the artwork, which I think I've talked about maybe on this podcast before. I'm sure I have. There's a cover art, of course, as every project does, but I'm doing individual artwork for every song on the EP. And yeah, so getting all those done, just getting everything prepared to release the music. So when I do finally finish the project, I'll have all the other like details already ready to go, and I won't have to worry about it. So, I think I've said before on this podcast about still trying to be productive when I'm not like focusing on the main shit. Even when there's days where I'm not, working on the songs or making new songs or whatever, I'm doing something towards that goal of getting it released and, finishing it. Or I'm just watching fucking Netflix. Either or. So now I have to finish watching The Office so I can just like put it away. Like, that's what I did. I think last year I watched That 70s Show, which is another show I've totally seen before. Yet it's on Netflix, so you fucking binge watch it. Or I do, apparently. And yeah, it was like I watched one episode, fucking had to finish it, had to watch the other however many seasons. And then once it was over, it was like, what the fuck just happened? You come out of your little fucking hole, your little groundhog fucking thing. You're like, what the fuck? Do we have fucking 3 more weeks of winter, or fucking do we watch another TV show or something? I don't know. It was a bad joke, but yeah, it makes you like not want to do anything else. Like you're just like, or not want to watch anything else because you just fucking sucked your life away for however many seasons. So once I finish watching this, I'm just gonna I'm gonna log out of Netflix, and I'm just like, yo, I don't need to watch nothing on there. I got things that need to be finished. But yeah, anyway. $50 minutes. We better get to questions and wrap this episode up. Look at that. Go into the episode thinking, I got nothing to talk about. Let me just talk about how I know I have nothing to talk about. And boom, 50 minutes later, we got a podcast episode. That's how it works, people. That's how it works. But when I stress myself out and I'm like thinking about what I don't have to say before even recording the episode, it's like, I don't know what kind of jokes or tangents I'm going to come up with or go off on. Like, there's no way to know that before just sitting down, pressing record, and fucking going. So, lesson learned. I apologize for being late, guys. I'll be better. I'll be back next week with, on time and all that shit. So, let's get to some questions here. Finish off the episode. I drank too much coffee before this episode. I'm not showing it because I don't want to get any damn brand issues. They need to pay me. They need to pay off the Dome with Dome's Gauge podcast if they want us to promote their fucking product on my show. Why would you not want to promote your product on my show? Best show in the fucking world. Best show in the world. All right, I don't want this episode to go that long, so I'm going to try and fucking wrap these questions up and just get on out of here. I still got to edit this shit, fucking put it up, do all that fucking nonsense. One day, I'm not going to have to do that. One day, I'll be able to hire a fucking producer for my podcast, and I don't have to worry about sitting here and editing and mixing and record and doing all this extra shit that I don't need to be doing. Although I do kind of enjoy it. It is like giving me some more skills, Maybe I'll fucking produce somebody's podcast. It's actually not a bad idea. Who's like, I'm going to do some research. Who just started a podcast that's famous and needs a producer? I'm going to hit him up. Hey, fool, I got you. I have a lot of skills that I can offer. All right. Let's run these questions. Excuse me. Okay. Oh. Okay. Hot dog kisser. What are we up to this week? What kind of fucking off the wall questions are you going to ask me this week? Okay. Hot dog kisser asks. Oh, okay, you got 2 here. There were my bad. Okay, we'll try that one first. Hot dog kisser asks, who do you go to for help on your EP? Which, good question, Hot Dog Kisser, because don't really go to anybody. Who do I go to for help on my EP? Me. I'm like, hey, Domes, this shit sound cool or what? And then the other domes that's in my head be like, nah, it doesn't sound good at all. And then the third domes that's on the right side, he'd be like, that shit's cool, I guess. It's good enough. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. And then, it's like that Jay and Silent Bob scene where fucking he gets like the demon and the angel on his shoulder or whatever. And that's his advice. No. Well, kind of. Yeah, I don't have many. If you mean like homies or friends, I go to Ryan, my fucking co-producer, or KON, who's like my fucking hetero life mate. Speaking of Jay and Silent Bob. No, but yeah, somebody that I grew up making music with. So I'll go, but that's more of some like second opinion, like, does this sound good? Or like, is this one tight versus is this one good? Like, it's not really, they're not the people I can go to like, hey, does the mix on this sound good? Like fucking, or here, mix this for me. Or like, it's a certain kind of help that I'm asking them for second opinions on, what song they like the most, what song should go first, what song should go last, like little shit like that. I do ask them, I ask them for second opinions because they are the closest people to my, to me that I'm, showing music to, I guess. And, but yeah, I don't really have, especially now, I don't have like an engineer that I'm like, mix this record for me. Like, you add the reverbs and the delays and the auto tune and the fucking, you do all that. And I'm going to make sure it's good. Like, with my first album, that was how it was. I brought it to somebody and paid him. So he mixed the shit for me. I'm doing it a little bit more DIY these days where I'm just like, well, don't have the money to pay an engineer to do my shit, so I gotta learn how to do it. And so yeah, there's not like another which would probably come in handy in the long run if I had another engineer that I could send my shit to and be like, hey, just what do you think about this? Do you think it's too this, too that, whatever the case is, and they can maybe help me out with it. That's all connections that I hope to build in the future is, build connections with different engineers, different artists, and different engineers, like the most important thing for me right now, because I know that's where I lack the most in as far as my mixing skills go. And they're getting better. They're not absolutely terrible, but I always know, at least I always have it in my head that this could be better. This isn't perfect. This isn't the best that it can be. And that goes back to the conversation I was having a while ago about knowing what's good enough, like not wanting to ruin a song, quote unquote, because I didn't mix it to its best potential, or I didn't take it to somebody to get mixed. And I don't know. So an engineer would be like, if I had somebody that I could just record my shit to and give it to them and say, hey, I want this, this, and this to happen. And they were like, I got you, and fucking mixed it for me. That would save so much of my damn time. That would help me tremendously, because I don't want to fucking put a fake percentage on it, but I was going to say 90%, which is probably not true. But a lot of these artists that you're hearing on the fucking radio or just hearing at all, a lot of these big artists sound so good because their engineers are so fucking good at what they do. And they make these people with average voices, average singing abilities, and average everything, they're making them sound like fucking superstars because they're really good at doing what they do. And I think about that all the time. I'm like, if only I had the fucking Travis auto-tune when I was singing live. If only I had, the same quality mix engineers as these guys do, my shit would probably sound 10 times fucking better. So one day we'll make that connection that, somebody that wants to work with me, when I can afford to fucking pay them, right now we're we're as low of a budget as it gets. No budget. Very minimal budget. So the fact that we're making anything happen at all is a blessing, and we're going to count our W's while we can and not really worry too much about, other engineers and producers and shit. Yeah, even like producers and people that make beats, like Ryan's my only like close homie that does that. And it's not like Ryan's been making beats like for a few years, and he's fucking getting hella good at it, like but he's not like Murder Beats or like fucking Mike Dean or somebody that I can like look at and be like, what do you think about this fucking snare drum here, or whatever the case is. Like, it's kind of a different level of like help that I'm asking for, I suppose. With my homies, it's more like, does this shit sound good? Like, does it not sound bad? This doesn't like hurt your ears, right? It just sounds okay. It doesn't sound too distorted, too fucking whatever, and so yeah, those are my two go-to people, KON and Ryan. So yeah. Okay, let's fucking run through these questions. Finish these questions up. I need to take a piss hella bad. I drank way too much coffee. Now I'm trying to finish this episode. All right, Hot Dog Kisser. Question 2. He says, what graffiti artist do you follow? I'm assuming it's a you. Sorry, Hot Dog Kisser. I told you I'm a grammar Nazi in the last episode. What graffiti artist do you follow, and any stories from the years you were a tagger? Plenty of stories. And I was a delinquent, so I'm pretty sure I can talk about all of them because I can't get in trouble for them anymore. I think that's how it works. But what graffiti artist did I follow? That's like, I don't really know how to answer. This is before Instagram, Hot Dog Kisser. You couldn't go and follow your favorite. No, I used to be fans of a lot of different graffiti crews and shit like that, but it was a long time ago. I don't really remember them very specifically like that, to be honest. Of course, you got like the legends like Cope 2 and Scene and all the New York OGs, and then you have the Cali dudes like see, now I'm blanking out on what their fucking names were. Anyway, I was just a fan of it, period. I used to watch hella documentaries. I love Style Wars. That's like an OG fucking New York graffiti documentary. There's a couple documentaries that I used to watch as a kid, and I was just a fan of, even there was a big, graffiti culture out here in Vegas, and I was a big fan of a lot of the dudes. A fan. That's weird to even say. I was a fan of this graffiti writer. No, I was what's the word I'm looking for here? Back to Google. I was enthralled. That was the word I had in my head, but wasn't quite sure if it meant the right thing. Yeah, I was enthralled by the graffiti scene in itself, and I was fascinated by it. And my older brother and his homies painted graffiti, wrote graffiti. Then my other older brother and his homies more or less got into it. And so anyway, I used to. Oh yeah, that was what you asked. You asked which graffiti artist do I follow? Yeah, not many these days, honestly. But you asked if I have any stories, any stories from the years I was a tagger, and yes, I have quite a few stories. Nothing too crazy, but one story that I like to tell, and I don't know, I don't think I've told it on this podcast. Maybe I did actually. I can't remember. You'll probably know because if it was probably a fucking answer to one of your questions. But so I was on probation when I was like 15 or 16 for I want to say weed. It was either weed or graffiti related. So those or both, honestly, probably both. But so I was on probation and it was basically like my last straw kind of thing. I couldn't get in any more fucking trouble, or at least that's what they told me, to make me do better. So it was like last straw. I can't get in any more trouble. I'm already on probation. I'm like, risking like, I don't know what they would have done. Sent me to fucking juvie or something. Yeah, it's like, last straw. I'm supposed to be on my best behavior. And of course I'm still walking the streets at night, painting graffiti with my homies. And just fucking run if you have to. I don't know what kind of example I'm setting here, but just fucking run. Don't get caught is your best bet. So one time, me and my homie at the time had the fucking best luck. Like, I was getting in trouble all the time for doing stupid shit. He would do way worse shit than me and never get in trouble. So, like, he's like the good luck charm and shit. So I'm painting with him one night, and we're walking back to, I want to say my house, or we're walking back somewhere to one of our houses, and we get pulled over. We get pulled over by the fucking cops. We're walking back underage with, spray paint in our backpacks, paint covering our hands, and I'm on probation. Like, it's my last straw, like last strike, can't do anything else, or I'm going to fucking juvie or whatever. So I'm like panicking. I'm like, oh, we're fucked, or I'm fucked at least, and the cop like takes the backpack, opens the backpack, pulls out the cans, puts the spray can on the hood of the car, fucking makes us sit down on the curb, like just all bad. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm fucked. So I'm panicking and shit. And as I'm like freaking out, like, fuck, man, like I'm stupid. I'm fucking, why am I still doing this after they told me I can't get in any more trouble? My don't get caught law didn't really, that mindset didn't really work very well. Here I am caught. So, they sit us on the curb or whatever, backpack with spray cans on the hood of the car. And literally we're sitting there. I'm freaking out. They're about to make a call, or they're about to, go to the next step of their fucking job. I don't fucking know what cops, I don't know their order of business here. But so yeah, I'm sitting there fucking panicked, like freaking out, like I'm fucking going to children's jail, going to juvenile hall. And so yeah, freaking out, sitting there like, just waiting for them to fucking run our names or whatever the case is. And literally across the street, like, we're right here and over here, for anybody that was watching, for anybody that's listening, it's right across the street. Fucking car crash happens. Somebody fucking crashes into another person, and literally across the fucking street from me and my homie, and the cops look at us and are like, get home, we don't want to see you out again, because they have to go across the street to deal with this car crash that just happened. And I'm looking like, somebody was looking out for me that day, bro. What the fuck? I thought I was done for. And then boom, car accident across the street happens. And yep, they sent, they told us fucking go home. We don't want to see you out anymore. And I was like, shit, done. Say less. And so I always used to say, that's because my homie had the fucking luck on his side. He always used to do shit and not get in trouble for it. So I was with him. There was enough luck feeding off him. That energy was there. And so, yeah, I did not get arrested that night. It's very nice. Very nice. So that's a good story. I have more, but I need to pee, so we'll wrap it up. Rhea has a question that I'll answer, and then damn, we're an hour and 10 minutes. We're fucking deep, bro. Went from having the shortest episode to the damn longest. All right. She asked, have you ever heard of Bo Burnham? Oh, hold on. There we go. Camera. We're back. She asks, have you ever heard of Bo Burnham? If not, would you consider doing a comedic track? Would you consider doing a comedic track? I have heard of Bo Burnham. I've never really listened to much of his stuff. I do know that he's like a comedy or a musician / comedian / musician. Guess the same thing. But he does like funny songs on like guitar and piano and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen some of it, but not much, as you can tell. And I don't think I would, for the simple fact that I hold a sense of pride in, God, it's such a weird topic to talk about with all like the culture vulture thing and the appropriating whatever kind of culture. I pride myself on actually being an authentic hip hop artist. So you won't see me do any Lonely Island, Little Dicky type like funny gimmicky rap stuff. That definitely won't happen. I probably would do a Kit Kat commercial like Chance the Rapper did. If I was getting paid Kit Kat money, yes, I probably would do that. But on some like funny gimmicky rap song, probably wouldn't happen. If I were to do it, it would be something more like what he's doing, where it's like guitar or a piano, and you know, I don't think I want to cross that line of being a gimmick in hip hop music. And you know, I've worked hard for this shit. I've been in this shit for too damn long for anybody to say. Now, me and KON talk about that all the time, where all these new rappers get accused of, you know, appropriating culture or being a culture vulture. And I'm like, dude, I've been part of this fucking culture since I was 12 years old, dog. Like, there's too many years of footage and groundwork for anybody to call me that. So, anyway, no, I probably wouldn't do any like comedic rap videos. But, who knows? Like I said, I would probably do a Kit Kat commercial or a Doritos commercial if they were paying me, like they did Chance the Rapper. And those are kind of like funnier kind of songs, or like funnier raps. Like that's what I mean. I guess it all just depends on context. I won't make my own song be a funny song, but if it's something that already existed, like a commercial or a comedy sketch or whatever the case is, I would be more open to it. But as far as one of my own songs, you probably won't hear a comedy track, I guess. So, yes. God, I had to pee so bad, I couldn't even do the outro. I had 15 seconds to say on the damn outro. And I had to pee so bad, couldn't do it. I had to fucking take a break. And now I'm back for 30 seconds or whatever. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge. I apologize once again for the episode being a day late. We'll be back next week for another episode. Not late. We'll be on time. It'll be Monday. I promise. I'm not just going to change the day to Tuesday now because I'm a day off. We're going back to Monday. Don't worry. I forgot. I posted about doing Write My Verse 5 live on my Instagram and Facebook yesterday and got some pretty positive response, some nice feedback. So I'm going to try and figure out how the hell I can do that, because it's something I want to do. Haven't really figured out the technical aspect of it, because if I go live on my phone, if I go live on Instagram from my phone, then I can't go live on Facebook or YouTube from my phone. So I'm going to have to... Anyway, technical fucking mumbo jumbo that you guys don't care about aside, I'm going to try and figure out how to write my verse 5 live. And forgot to talk about that earlier in the episode. So anyway, I'm pretty sure this is the longest episode that we've done so far. So we're setting fucking milestones here. We did the shortest episode we've ever done 2 weeks ago. Now, longest episode we've ever done. So yeah, we'll wrap it up right here. I don't want it to be too long. It's already longer than I wanted it to be. So we'll wrap it up right here. I appreciate you guys tuning in, listening, watching, all that good stuff. Make sure to hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, rate and review on iTunes, all that shit. Trying to think. Is there anything else I usually say here at the end? Buck, you want to help me out? Apparently not. Buck does not want to help me out. It's fine. It's fine. All right, guys. We'll be back next week for another episode of Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge. We'll be back on time. No bullshit. All right, guys. See you next week. Peace.